Hi YouTube! So today I am here in middle of November, ready to plant out a lot of my plants that we've started together so far in this series. If you'd like to see the planting calendar that I'm using, it's free in the description box below. I created it and I've made it available to you all, so you can just go below and get that. It has been November and I am in South Florida, which is incredibly hot. But the reason I'm telling you that is because that means that now is when our growing season is starting, which is why we're doing a seed starting series and why you see all these young plants here ready to be started. So here I have set up, I've direct sown beets, radishes, and arugula. So let me show you the beets, radishes, and arugula that we've started here together. So the radishes are looking awesome, but not ready to be direct sown. So I've direct sown some, and beets and radishes prefer to be direct sown. They're a little bit difficult to transplant. So we've started them both ways here, but I'm just letting you know why I'm doing it this way. So here are the radishes. So if you get my emails, you know that my daughter didn't water my arugula while I was out on vacation, so it has suffered. So I didn't actually have it ready to transplant, but arugula in general does really well in our climate. So I'm really not all that worried. I've direct sown some right here. I do not think that this is gonna make it. So I wanted to let you know the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that one's not doing too well. The beets are doing great, but not ready to transplant, which is why we direct sown some of them, and we will see how they do. So now we're going to be moving on to planting out the plants that they're obviously doing well and ready to get their own spot in the raised bed. So here we have basil, and what I told you was I only want 2 basil plants because basil in South Florida will actually, this is Thai basil, and they will do really well. And I don't think I can justify having more than 2 plants because I won't be able to use all that basil. So I looked it up, and they only need, what I like to do is the square foot method. They don't need too much space, so I can plant them relatively close to one another. So I can have my 2 in the same square foot. So let's do that. So I'm gonna take, for right now, just the biggest one. They got super healthy and super big just in their seed tray. So I'm just gonna take the 2 biggest ones, give them some space here, and they'll be just fine. Oh, look at how beautiful the roots are. So you just go like that. Take this other very large one. You just tug at it gently. Should come out. I can already smell how good these are. You can smell, like they already smell like basil. I will probably make this one a gift, or maybe make 1 or 2 of these a gift since the holidays are coming, and you can easily give this to somebody as a hostess gift or something when you go. So what I'm gonna do is, you just kind of lay them here. You don't stand them up yet. The reason you water before the plant is covered up is so that you know that the water is getting directly to the roots of the plant, so that it makes transplanting as easy as possible. So you water it right there, and then you stand them up and cover them in. Do the same thing here. So right here we have our Swiss chard. Swiss chard has done really well. Swiss chard is about 4 plants to a square foot. So let's go ahead and do that right in here. So let's go ahead, take out the best plants and plant them. Even the roots are pinkish. Can you see that? Okay. So do the same thing, water them, and then we'll cover them up. So the lettuce is looking awesome. When you're planting out lettuce, you can put up to 6 in a square foot, so we can fit a lot of lettuce in there. Remember to be planting out lettuce every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how much you eat. But the reason you wouldn't plant out 30 at one time is because you always want it fresh. The longer, like this is one of those plants that you want it young and tender. The older it gets, it just gets like tougher and bitter. So this is one of those things that it's better to do it sequentially and do it every 2 to 3 weeks, and to do it all in one go, then it's all ready at once and there's really no way of preserving it for a whole season. So let's go ahead and do that. I have Salanova lettuce seeds, which are actually my favorite homegrown lettuce that I've had. So we have that later for planting out. So you just make your trench. It's not a very technical thing. You just do your little trench. And these are 1 per square foot. I have 6 here. So let's go ahead and just, and this is 3 square feet. So you would just go ahead and pick the biggest, healthiest plants and put them in. See how they're just popping out? And this last one. So a quick update on the seeds. So we just planted parsley, cilantro, and the Salanova lettuce. I'm really excited for the Salanova lettuce because it's November. Now is supposed to be the time to plant it. And so I'm pretty confident that if we get it planted now and continue planting it throughout the season, I should have a steady supply of lettuce. The other I had to do was I had to replant. I had to buy a new packet of seeds and replant the strawberries because mine are germinating but incredibly slowly, and I think there's like 5 to 6 like tiny leaves, but that's nowhere near the amount of plants I expected to have. So I did just buy a whole new packet starting over. One of the things that I always want to tell you, and I always forget when it comes to strawberries or anything that has an incredibly small seed, is that planting them in one of these like used strawberry containers might even be better than the seed starters, because really what you need is to they're very small seeds and it's near impossible to put them perfectly in a seed container, and really what you need is to just get them started. So get them started here, and we can actually take them out of here once they're a decent size and move them into a seed tray and continue developing them like that before they're ready to go into the raised bed. The radishes are looking great. The dahlias are looking great, which I'm really excited about. I might just move them into 3-inch pots. We planted out a ton of plants. The only other plants that I think I need to give you updates on are the Cuban oregano, which continue doing amazingly. And I'll soon have to divide them and put them each in their 3-inch pot. And the squashes and cucumbers are already planted out and they're doing okay in their new spots. So I'm going to continue watering them, I'm going to continue taking care of them, but it's taking them a little while to get acclimated. And then the last thing are the eggplants. So the eggplants I've recently moved into 3-inch pots of their own, but they are looking a little worn. I think they're called tomato pinworms or something along those lines. And even though the eggplants do look a little sickly, this is something I've noticed happens because I have grown eggplant before. The eggplants, even though they do look attacked by this bug, they will produce fruit. So even as seedlings, you can already kind of see that these bugs are attacking him, but I'm not going to discount those plants because I've seen in the past that just because one of these plants has like pest damage does not mean it won't produce fruits. One of the things that I have heard to make your eggplant as healthy as possible is to go ahead and feed it with a fish emulsion. So I have bought that for this season and I will be using that to regularly feed my eggplant. More on that as we get to that point, but for right now I've just transferred them into 3-inch pots, and their only job right now is to fill in that pot. So I think and the last update. My parsley did not germinate at all. I have no idea why, which is why today we planted parsley again. So let me know if you're having the same issue. Everything else has germinated. Everything else is moving on nicely. So I'm not too concerned about, did I do the right thing? I'm more concerned about, is this a bad batch of seeds? Does parsley require something that other plants don't require? I'm kind of trying to figure out those types of things. So if you are doing the same thing, planting, please go ahead, give it a like, share, subscribe. Let me know how your garden's doing. And if you subscribe, YouTube will let you know the next time I upload a video so that you can see how all these plants are doing, because I am regularly reporting to you what I've planted, how it's coming along, and giving you updates on how everything's doing, because I really want to encourage you to go ahead and start a vegetable garden even if you're in incredibly hot weather, as am I.